And hello everybody and welcome back to the Midnight channel, and today I have another review for you. Yes, it is Digimon. No, I'm just kidding. It's Pokemon Go. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I personally play Let's Go Eevee, so I will be referring as just Let's Go. So if I talk about Pokemon, you know I'm talking about Pokemon Let's Go Eevee or Pikachu. And yeah, so as my previous reviews before, divided in different sections. Gaming sections are going to be story, in a Pokemon game, gameplay, performance, and of course fun. Whether you have fun in the game or not, that's the most important thing, right? So yeah, we'll just get started with it. Judging a Pokemon game by the story is a bit unfair, but hear me out here for a second, okay? Pokemon has always been about gameplay and about just about the adventure. So I understand that. But if put it simply, you start as a 10-year-old child that is on the road to becoming a Pokemon master or a Pokemon champion. You encounter challenges and you are on your way to challenge all the gyms and basically get to Elite Four. Would you defeat them and you become the champion? So Nintendo did an interesting job in this one. It's just kind of like a remake slash a sequel at the same time. So you see characters from the previous games or even from the anime as well, such as Blue, or Gary, Jesse, and James, and Mia, of course. So those bits and pieces scattered throughout the game actually make kind of a bit of an interesting gameplay here, which makes you feel kind of like just the nostalgia of it. Makes you feel like you're playing a different version of Pokemon Red, Yellow, and Blue at the same time as just getting something fresh and new. Overall, I think it worked really well. Of course, I expected a little bit more of a difference on the story, and I don't mean story just on in general, but I mean a little bit of a play out here. But unfortunately, other than a little bit here and there, they didn't really change much from the first one. Maybe it's just me expecting a little bit more from Nintendo after games like Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but I really just expected a little bit more. Of course, maybe for the next game, for the next Pokemon game, we can expect a little bit more, but for now here, we just had little bits and pieces here, which is fine, just not enough for me to kind of be like, wow, it really improved a lot. I think they did a pretty good job in Pokemon Sun and Moon regarding this, but overall, it was a good adventure, but not enough to say I guarantee a lot of improvement here. So in this, I want to give it an 8 out of 10. In the plot slash story, it's really just about the nostalgia here, but it did an incredible job here. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier, gameplay is really the main thing of a Pokemon game. Without gameplay, you really have no game, especially in something like Pokemon, which is all about the adventure, or catching, the fighting, and everything. So how well is it? So I think in this department is when Nintendo really tried to step things a little bit up, things and make some changes, and some new stuff are good, some stuff are not good. So let me just break it down for you a little bit more. One of the things that I liked was basically the way that they changed the encounters with the Pokemon. It used to be a total random thing that just didn't make a lot of sense. You just walk every 2 steps and a new Pokemon popped up and everything. But they really changed it up. Here you can now see all the Pokemons in the wild, and it really makes a whole of a difference, especially how it just feels, because now it feels the world more alive. You see the Pokemons you see around, walking around, running around, not necessarily attacking you, just like seeing them and everything. Some do approach you and stuff like that, and it just makes you feel like you're in the game, and it just makes you feel a little bit better. I feel like this is an incredible improvement here. I really want all the Pokemon games from here on to have this feature because it's very welcomed. As far as all the stuff, another thing that I really like about this was basically the way that now you can kind of like count, and the counter increases as you catch more of the same type of Pokemon. So if you catch a let's say you want a Rattata, you want a shiny Rattata, you can catch a couple of them or a few of them until you eventually get a shiny, or one with better IVs. And the reason for that is because you're catching Pokemon, and that counter is going up and up. You get more experience and that kind of stuff. I really think this is awesome. I don't know why they didn't do it before, but this is just a really interesting way to make you encourage you to catch the same Pokemon a bunch of times. But at the same time, I feel like this is a really awesome idea also for the shinies, but it makes it a little bit less special when you find a shiny as well, right? But as far as battle system and everything, it felt about the same. A little bit here and there that was changed, but I feel like the biggest improvement is a little bit on the AI. I felt like that some of the challenges, some of the battles were a little bit more challenging than before, and trust me, I was well ahead, with my party and everything. I usually pretty high leveled, so even then sometimes I'm like, oh hey, they actually did something other than just the basic attack, something that will hit your weaknesses and stuff like that. Something I haven't seen in a Pokemon game before. Maybe in Sun and Moon it was a little bit like this too, I think I remember, but you can definitely see an improvement from the other games before that. But yeah, overall, I feel like that's all the good stuff I can say. Unfortunately, there's some stuff that I disliked and I'm not discussing. Now, just keep in mind before anybody says anything, this is an opinion here, so I understand my mileage can be different from yours during this gameplay, but I just want to say how I felt about this. The thing that I dislike the most, and I'm just going to start with this one, is the way that you catch in this system. The system is exactly borrowed from the Pokemon Go game, and it's just not welcome at all. I don't like this at all, and I feel like this needs to go back to the way it is. Basically, and you know how it is at this point because you've seen it plenty of times, but if you haven't, you have a Joy-Con, you throw you flick the Joy-Con and it flicks the Pokeball as if you were throwing it, and that's the thing, that the way that you're supposed to catch it from now on. I don't like this at all. It feels really gimmicky, kind of like going back to the Wii and the Wii U and the Wiimote and everything. I don't like that at all. I didn't like it in Mario Party. I didn't like it on the other games that use that system with the little Joy-Con. It's just, to me, it just feels like a waste of time, really, and I just want something better. I don't want that. If you're gonna do the catching, just throwing the Pokeball, come up with something else, because this is just not a good improvement at all. The other thing is because after doing it, at the starts, you can do it for a little bit, but 34 hours, which is what my gameplay was, it gets tiring. It really feels like a grind, and I'm not even talking about just trying to get experience points, because this game is very generous with experience points, especially if you do these combos and everything. You can get some serious experience points. You can level up multiple times just with a couple Pokemons. Of course, you gotta do it right and everything, but overall, I just feel like this new way of catching is just not for me. It's really just not something that I want to do, or something I want to see on the next game. So please, if you want to do this on the next game, I'd rather just be upfront about it, because I just don't want to see it. Alright, so overall, this is remedied by the way that you trade now, because you can send those Pokemons back to the professor, and you do get a candy, so you do kind of have a reward for catching all these Pokemons, but I don't think it's enough for you to go through all the trouble of catching the Pokemons and everything, and it does make you feel like a real grind when you need to level up and that kind of stuff. I'd rather you do that through more battling or something, but I just didn't like the way that. I'm sorry about that, Nintendo. I just didn't enjoy it much. It just feels like there's no real purpose for that other than capturing Pokemon, and it kind of takes you out of the experience, really. So I am gonna give gameplay a 7 out of 10. Unfortunately, like I said, I just didn't like that at all. Nintendo, if you're gonna do this for another game, please just stop this with the Joy-Cons and the Wiimote and all this stuff. I don't really care much for the gimmick stuff. I just want to play games, and I don't want to move anything. If I want to play virtual reality with all that kind of stuff, I will get a virtual reality game, but I don't want to get a couch game where I'm gonna sit down and play, or a portal game like this, and then move my console around and everything. It's just not fun for me. So yeah. So now we're gonna talk about performance, and overall this is one of the best Pokemon games ever. They look, as far as like how it performs and everything, it looks great. It really looks super good. I don't think a Pokemon game has ever looked this good before, and it looks like it's in the right direction for a really good sequel. All the cutscenes look amazing. I just like how so detailed and everything it looked. and the Pokemon models look really good. They feel great, and now that you can ride them and everything, it's just a whole lot of a difference. They move, you ride them, and it's just a good experience of it all. I feel like they did a pretty amazing job. However, I do want to say this. Looking at something like Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey, there's a glaring difference there. So I'm really hoping that the next true sequel for a Pokemon game looks just like Mario or Breath of the Wild. Not stylistically speaking, but as far as like graphics, because you can see a clear jump between the last Zelda game and Breath of the Wild, just how different they'll look together. The same thing with the Mario games through Mario Odyssey. You can clearly see a difference. So for the next Pokemon game, I would like to see the same as well. Now, as far as sound goes, this entire game has been remastered in the sound department. All of the music is now fully orchestrated. They all sound great, and I can't get over how good the music sounds. I will play it over and over again. I'll just leave the music sounding sometimes because I just love the music, and now that it's being remade, it just sounds great. So yeah, overall, I'm gonna give a performance a 9 out of 10. Like I said, just a little bit of minor concern there for the next entry here. I want it to look as good as it can be, and with good-looking games like Breath of the Wild or Super Mario Odyssey, I know it can look better than this. I mean, look at how good Super Smash Bros. Looks. So yeah, this is what I want it to look like too. All right. Most fun I had in a Pokemon game in a very long time. I don't know how long it's been has I had this much fun in a game. And I think it's just because of the nostalgia, because I mean, looking at Kanto once again, full HD 1080p was a good adventure, and it just makes me feel really good. The fighting is really good, the exploring is awesome. Now that you can ride your Pokemon, it just makes you feel more alive. You can ride your Pokemon, you can talk to them, you can have them pick up items and stuff like that, and that adds another layer to Pokemon. And I feel like this is what makes you feel a real Pokemon monster, you know, if you want to be like that. Overall, I had some amazing games, and these made me feel back at my childhood again. It reminded me of a lot of good moments, and I just want to give fun a 10 out of 10. It might just be the child in me once again, but this reminded me so much of so many good memories. And this is what I want from a Pokemon game in the fun department. This really just had a little good stuff going for there. But yeah. Now there was something else that I really enjoyed playing, and that was the 2-player co-op. The Nintendo designing this one, it was pretty interesting. I really like it. The only thing that I didn't like was the fact that whenever you play with 2 people, you are using the 2 Pokeballs, so you're always wasting 2 Pokeballs every single time that you throw. So that's the only thing for that, but I thought that it was pretty cool and really interesting. I never seen anything like that before, so it's really cool to see that happen in a Pokemon game. Maybe co-op in the next game will be awesome as well. Alright, so you heard my opinion in all the different sections, so we're just gonna break it down one more time. So for starters, we talked about the story, or the lack of story really, but yeah, I gave this an 8 out of 10. Definitely Nintendo went for the nostalgia, and it went good for myself, so I gave it a 9 out of 10. And then on the department of performance, I gave this game a 9 out of 10. The game looked beautiful and everything looked amazing. And now as far as gameplay, and I did speak that I have a lot of issues myself with the game. I understand this is gonna be different for everybody. This is an opinion. So overall, I give this a 7 out of 10. And then as far as fun goes, I had a blast with this game despite all the stuff. And I know I sounded a little bit negative on the gameplay aspect, but I love Pokemon, and I have been loving Pokemon for so many years, so I definitely really want them to do a great job at the next game. So I give fun a 10 out of 10, and I definitely expect the game to improve from here on. The new one is coming out soon, in a year or so, so hopefully a lot of the stuff that they made here they can improve on, because every single entry in the Pokemon games have improved in some aspects. So in certain aspects, I did not like some of the stuff that they changed on this one, and I'm very hopeful that the next one they can improve more than progress. Do you understand? So, yes, overall, I love the game. Like I said, if you haven't already bought this game, definitely a purchase. Overall, this game is going to be running to an 8.5 out of 10, and I believe this is an 8.5 out of 10 game. definitely some improvements here and there in a lot of different areas. Like I said, gameplay just a little bit in some aspects, but overall this is a fun experience. If you play the original Pokemon games, so you're kind of like, no, I don't want to play another Pokemon game in my life, this is one that you should pick up. Probably this brings back the original 151 Pokemons, all of them fully revamped. They all look great. The sound they make and everything is amazing too. So overall, like I said, this is a pretty good experience. If you want to play it, definitely should get it. Alright, well, thanks so much for watching the review. Like always, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.